Hey y'all, this is Jasmine J with the Business Umbrella here with the Let's Talk Business podcast. This season is called All Things Real Estate, where we focus on how to use real estate as a tool to build generational wealth. So today I have some special guests and I'll let them introduce themselves. How y'all doing today?
Good.
Pretty
How are
good, pretty
you?
good.
Hi, my name is Brittany Hyman. I am the director of the Third Ward Real Estate Council. I'm from here, Houston, Texas, an urban planner, and I focus on communications and strategic policy.
And my name is Jason Hyman. I am the VP of Business Development for the Third World Real Estate Council. I primarily identify opportunities to further our mission, which most time looks like acquisition of properties and things like that. I'm a licensed broker, urban planner, and the owner of, to our research, the only black-owned real estate firm that offers brokerage and planning services in this city.
All right.
That's a lot. That's great. That's great. So tell me, how did y'all get started? Why real estate and what led y'all to this journey?
You
Wanna
want to
take
start?
that? Go ahead.
Okay. So me personally, I went to school for urban planning and environmental policy.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was in school, I thought that real estate would be my opportunity to sort of get out and do like Bob Lanier kind of say like what's gonna happen in the city, get there,
Yeah.
develop it, and
Yeah.
make it great. And I ended up not being great at real estate. But
What are the odds?
Right. But I still, being active in our community
Mm-hmm.
and recognizing everything that's happening with it, understanding the dynamics, and working. My background worked for the city in the housing and community development department for 13 years.
Oh, wow.
And so I was able to connect the pieces between the urban planning and the real estate that way.
So I want to ask you about that. Do you feel like your experience working for the city, you felt like that has a big part to where you are today? Plays a big part in where you are today?
Absolutely, because I think that you learn a lot of things in school when you're talking about urban planning, you're talking about public policy, but actually seeing it in practice and seeing what goes on in between, how programs are laid out and how they're actually governed, and how people actually engage with the city and how you get resources out to people.
Right.
It definitely makes for a richer experience in community engagement and understanding what pieces go where.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. Did you feel like at that job is where you developed the love for wanting to give back to your community?
I think that was already in me.
Okay.
I think that actually it was the desire to make a difference that led me to urban planning, which led me to the housing department.
Right.
And I love people and communities differently than Jason does. I have a different application of it.
Yeah.
I found that I actually am better behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And so I really fell in love with policy at the city because I got an opportunity to see it in practice and to start writing some.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, this is my lane. Because I love to write, I love to research, and I was able to find my space that way.
Yeah, you found your niche.
Yeah.
Okay. Jason?
Yeah, I think my journey is a little different. I'll say I got my license almost 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Really, the driver was student loans. That was a big driver. But
Right.
in that, I told myself I had this big dream. And I said, I want to build a city one day. And that started the journey. And so the license, not just getting the license, but taking it serious, really learning what I need to learn, going urban planning and schooling. I was lucky enough, we went to school together, but I was lucky enough to work in the housing department while I was in school. So I got to really blend.
Oh,
He likes
yeah.
people to know he was there before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. We
Absolutely.
noted it. We got it. Okay.
That's where we met, and then she followed me to the housing.
Oh, okay. I see what this is. Okay.
Okay.
Sounds like it was all meant to
Nice
be.
story. Nice story.
So we, kind of bridges there. I think coming from the housing department, leaving there, going into banking, all those skill sets over time just really built up to kind of put us in a position today to do the things we're doing.
Okay. So when did y'all get started?
So the office, the real estate office, has been around for about 5 years. It's I like to call it one of our babies. It's our third baby, and he actually, when I got ready to have my oldest, is when he left the bank. And so that's how I keep up with how long it's been. She's 5 now, and so is the business.
Okay.
And so he had been doing real estate for 15 years. Like I said, I had been at the city and just sort of supporting in the background.
Yeah.
And so I've been fully full-time focused for, it's been 8 months now. That
8
I've
months.
been fully in the office with the council and doing this full-time.
So tell me, what was that jump like for you?
It was scary, and it was unexpected. I used
Okay.
to always tell Jason, man, I don't know how you do entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have the stomach for it. I like the stability. I
Yeah.
like to know what's coming, and plan for it. But while I was pregnant, I got an executive position at the city, and at that time, it was also COVID, and so my oldest daughter, her daycare closed, so we were homeschooling. I had just gotten this executive job, and I was pregnant, and I just did not feel like I was giving in any of my capacities
Giving your all,
what they
100%.
deserve.
Yeah.
And so I had to make a decision, and for me, it was my family. Because I felt like if I'm going to work the hours, if I'm going to spend the time, I want to be able to do it in a way where I'm present,
Yeah.
Where I'm flexible, and where I can see immediate change the way that I want to see it.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I think that kind of happened for me, like working for the city. It was like really rewarding. I got to see homes and parks and apartments, like people getting in their homes,
Yeah.
right? And then I worked for the bank, and that stopped. And then I would drive home through 3rd Ward, and the streets was bad, and all the vacant lots, and all. I just like, man, I'm sitting at these organizations, and I'm making these folks a lot of money.
Yeah.
But I gotta drive home and see this every day.
Yeah.
And so that I packed it up. I'm like, I'll do like LeBron. I'm taking my talents.
And I'm going
to
somewhere
3rd
else.
Ward. Yeah. so it kind of happened in that way. The office maybe was about 5 years old. We really, probably maybe 2 or 3 years ago, really start pushing public and, really pushing things. And I'll say our development company, the 3rd Ward Real Estate Council, is only about a year old now.
So how do y'all feel like the community is accepting your presence in 3rd Ward?
It's a mixed bag. That's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
a mixed bag.
Okay.
And I mean, that's expected though.
Yeah, for sure.
Everybody's trying to do something. Everybody has a head down. Sometimes like miscommunication gets crossed up and things like that. But overall, it's very well received. Very well received. Everything that we do, we're doing kind of like in context with the community, so to speak, like literally with them. So from design, from investing, from educating, the whole nine.
Yeah, I think that Jason had been involved in the community in a lot of service capacities. He was the president of our civic association and the president of the super neighborhood. And so he already had that trust factor and that built in because he had been doing the work.
Yeah.
And I think that from my side, it's a journey. Because I think that when people see me, they're used to seeing me like, oh, either I'm here in the capacity of the city or I was here in the capacity of supporting Jason. And so now they're like, okay, you're here. What are you up to?
Right.
And so it helps that, coming from that background and having studied all these plans for the area, that when I do engage with community members and different organizations, I'm able to do so in a way that's respectful and knowledgeable because I've studied the area and I've lived in the area. And so it's not like I'm an outsider.
Right. So can we talk a little bit more in detail about the specific services that y'all offer at both of the companies?
Sure. So I'll start with the office, and I can let you. You want to speak to the council. So the office, offers brokerage and planning services. So,
Okay.
you know, our big goal with that is to bridge the generational wealth gap through real estate. And we really focus on relationships. So if you'll see, like our commercial social media is bridging the generational wealth gap through real estate, one relationship at a time, right? So to do that, we help people buy and sell.
Mm-hmm.
But we also offer planning services like to community organizations, to city officials, leaderships, and things like that, around policy recommendations, community engagement, leadership training, things like that, to help people better.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
To just to help bring a more comprehensive view to real estate. You know, like one side is transaction, one side is transformation.
Okay, I got you. But it's all geared towards real estate.
It's all geared towards real estate. Urban planning is, we wouldn't be able to practice real estate the way we do without the study of urban planning, right? Everything at the city that governs what we can develop, can't do, and all that's rooted in that urban planning. So we like to have a hand in the policy and the recommendations, things that are going on, because that's a direct influence and impact on our agents, on our planners, on our partners, right?
Right.
So it's totally comprehensive.
You know, I'm really humble and grateful that y'all are here on the podcast to speak about generational wealth from your perspective, because, you know, this whole season is geared on how real estate could be used as a tool to build generational wealth. And a lot of the guests have come from the business side of real estate, you know, selling real estate, developing land. So to come from where you want to actually be a part of the planning and, you know, involved with the city and the rules and things like that, I just think that's beautiful, and I think that's a whole different perspective of generational wealth, because some of the things that are being put in place is something that will affect generations to come.
Right.
So, and if you look at where we are as a community and a lot of the disparities that we have, it's because of policies that were put in place decades ago. And so being able to understand what those policies were that got us to where we are is really important to being able to dismantling them the same way.
Or even,
that makes a lot of sense.
Even you've spoken to, like you say, development. Like in the city of Houston, like it's really, right now we're growing so much, we want to be dense, but like what's written says we can't be dense the way we probably should be.
Right.
So like that's, you know, that's connecting both those gaps. So we still have that arm, that's the business side of things.
The business side of it.
But again, we wrap it with the planning, even with like different tools and ebooks and guides that are like our agents can use to go and educate others the same way. And then we had a council as a development vehicle within the community. So
that's all right.
This is amazing. This is amazing what y'all are doing. It really is.
Yeah. And so the council basically came out of the plans that were studied at the office. So in the office, basically, we went through all of the plans that have been done in the area, because people have been studying Third Ward for decades now.
For sure.
And so taking all of those plans and saying, okay, how can we make this actionable? And out of that, we saw the need and the opportunity for the council. And the mission of the council is to create equitable opportunities in real estate through education, access to capital, and responsible development. And so we do that with the idea that if we can offer the workshops and the trainings, and we could do capacity building for emerging developers, and we can create opportunities for people to invest in their own communities, then that way we can have more real estate that we own, and that we trade amongst one another. And
that's literally the solution.
Yeah.
That's literally the solution.
You know, I'm looking into getting into real estate investment. That's something I've always wanted to do, and I realized lately that I've been in real estate already by how I've bought my homes. So when I was 19, I bought a home, a foreclosure home that had equity in it. And so I started my family there, and then I sold the home, made good money off of it. Like, I was like, okay. So at that time, I was married at that time. So when we moved out the home, my ex-husband started a trucking business. And so we invested everything into that trucking business. And then after that, we purchased another home that had just a little bit of equity in it. And now I'm getting ready to sell it because the way the homes are going, and make a lot of money off of it. So it was like, you know what, this real estate thing, this is a thing. But I don't want to get involved in just making money off of flipping homes. What I want to do is I want to build, like you guys, I want to build, for my community. And my family is originally out of Sunnyside in Houston, Texas. So, and they building up all kind of stuff over there. So I'm trying to get in with them and see how I can,
What's unique, or what we feel like is really unique about the way we practice and what we do, is that everything that really comes out of my office as a tool, for instance. So you talk about the council and the things that it does. Everything that we fashion is fashioned to be scalable, up, down, and replicable. So
you can do it again.
Third Ward, Sunnyside Acres Home, another state, another city. I think that's really different, and then we have the folks behind us to tweak it to those cities, because every community is different, and I think that's been the hurdle a lot of times to solving a lot of problems in communities. We throw the same problem at every community, and I think from a public perspective, it's always looked like large apartments. That's it. Just dump 200 units over there, put all the poor people in the same spot. Be done with it.
Because it's like the problem is not unique, right? You have communities of color all across the country that are at risk right now, but the solutions are, the spaces are unique. And so having that contextual approach allows people to have a stake and a say in how they want to remain a part of their community. Because it's just about creating options. Right, housing options as well as commercial options.
For sure. So let's talk about Third Ward, because some of the viewers may not be from Houston. So can y'all just give them a background on the historic Third Ward of Houston, Texas?
So you want so Third Ward, just to give a high level of Third Ward. If you're not familiar, Third Ward is just south of downtown Houston. If you're not familiar with Third Ward, the area, you may be familiar with Texas Southern University, the University of Houston, or a lot of people right now are very familiar with where? The Turkey Leg Hut. This is all Third Ward as an area, and it's been a rich history, long standing. You have Emancipation Park, which was first piece of land that I think slaves bought. So that was
Jack Yates put together.
Jack Yates. So all this rich history is there, and then you had this history of black people staying in that area and whites coming in and then moving out. This whole transition and flight has been experienced there. But you're talking about almost 100 years of history. Our home is built in like the 1920s.
Wow.
Right, so that means they've been around that long. Or if you go to the area and you look at some of the homes, people, we get a lot of people say, I want duplexes, I want duplexes. Well, there's duplexes out there, but it's interesting. A lot of people don't understand that those duplexes, that's where we stayed because we couldn't stay in the actual regular home. Right? We were like maids and servants and stuff like that. So it's funny how it's turned. Like that was the scraps for us then, but like
now we want to build them.
It's what everybody wants, is the duplex, the house hack, and all that kind of stuff.
And then you think too, when you talk about how we live and how they lived, Third Ward, the infrastructure was built pretty much, black people built it. And during Hurricane Harvey, our street did not flood. And so I think that says a lot about the ingenuity and the brilliance that was there, and that was a part of that community. And so Third Ward was a place where you had, what do you call the people who make the bricks?
The masons.
So you had masons, you had, carpenters, teachers, that is the history of Third Ward. I believe it was the first or one of the only main corridors of black business in Houston. And so that's Third Ward, and it it's like a lot of other communities right now undergoing a demographic shift. For the first time in the last couple of decades, In the latest census, we saw a decline in the black population where it's no longer the majority in third ward.
Wow.
And so
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was a study just came out like maybe last month. They released they lost like I can't remember the number of residents, but like over the past 10 years, but like it's been a big I don't say been a big shift. There is a big shift happening, and I think that is one of the main drivers of why we chose to do things, not do the things we're doing, but the way we're doing, to try to really attract people back
Right.
by highlighting the area
Mm-hmm.
and then having options or at least a pathway to
Right.
some options to at least live and possibly work there.
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times people say, oh, gentrification is happening. That means I can't buy there or I can't live there.
Mhm.
And we want people to know that's not true.
Right.
You just have to have a creative option and the opportunity
Yeah.
to get in that way. And so,
So how, well, does the council, do y'all accept volunteers, or the community, how are they able to be involved?
so we say that people can get involved with the council 3 ways. They can support, which basically is like, join the Facebook group, let people know, tag us, share your pictures,
Yeah.
let people know that we exist.
Mm-hmm.
They can they can donate, but not through just give us money, but buy a t-shirt or
Mhm.
take a course, because we want to make sure that anytime someone gives something to us, there is an exchange that happens. We don't want to just take. We want to say, okay, well, in exchange for this donation here, let us offer you some education. Let us offer you, a piece of third ward pride,
Right.
through the t-shirt.
Right.
And you can also sponsor. And so we had.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Did I mess it up?
Well, we just had a luncheon, so one of the ways is to become a supporter. And so we asked those supporters
That's
to
right.
pay $100 annually. And what that kind of opens them up to are our projects and developments,
Mhm.
where those people that are paying supporters, helping push the mission and things like that, we open up our development so that they can invest with us.
Okay. Okay. And so if people wanted services from the office, how do they get in contact?
Same thing. So if you're looking for the council, you see this logo,
Yeah.
or dt3m.com, and you can go there, and that page will take you to everything that we have going on and unpack everything for you, and you can choose to kind of join in where you are. We
Yeah.
designed it that way to make sure there's something there for everybody, right? And then the council, you can look up notjustanagent.com.
The office.
I'm sorry, the office. I'm sorry, the
It's
office.
okay.
For the office, if someone's looking to buy or sell,
Mhm.
or need some help within the community around planning and coordination, engagement, and things like that, they can just reach out to notjustanagent.com.
Not just an agent.
Not just an agent, yeah.
Okay. So tell them, what is DT3M? What does that stand for? What does that mean?
So everybody looks at the logo here,
Uh-huh.
and so what we realize is like we gotta spread awareness some kind of way.
Yeah.
And right now you have like a big, like, buy back the block or buy the block movement.
Yeah.
And we're very supportive of that. But we also see that that's kind of grown into its own thing.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned earlier, like, well, I want to invest, but I want to invest differently. So
Yeah,
we want to
for
be
sure.
differently. So it stands for do the things that matter. So that's our campaign to kind of help get partners and other people involved and spread the word. So you see the DTQ, do the things that matter. And it looks like science class when you were in middle school.
Right.
So it's our formula for success. And we feel like so long as you kind of drown out the noise and all the mess
Mhm.
and do the things that
That
matter,
matter?
you'll get to where you're trying to get to in your community.
That's beautiful. If I had fire, I'd send it on the screen right now. But that just really goes into what I feel like Let's Talk Business podcast is all about. So back in July, I think July of 2020, I've always wanted to do podcasting, but I guess just the nervousness. But then when the pandemic started, my for-profit business, I do administrative work and financial work for entrepreneurs. And so during the pandemic, a lot of people started a business, and so I started working and having a lot of clients, and I just realized they just were not educated on what it takes to start and plan for a successful business. It was more like a lot of hobbies. Like whatever somebody was good at, they did an LLC in it, and then from there, that was their business, which is cool. I mean, I'm not knocking that, and I support that. But I wanted to be a part of a bigger change. I wanted to be able to educate and have a platform where people can get information, so you know that the infrastructure of your organization is really, really important. So how you started, you should plan for the success in the future.
Yes.
And here talking to y'all and hearing the way y'all have like engineered your business, it's like it's built for success. I can't see it not being successful, and I want to be a part of it. So I want to tell everybody out there, please go to the website and support what y'all are doing, because it's beautiful.
Thank you for allowing us to come and talk.
Oh, no problem, no problem. I do want, for all my viewers out there, I like to give them words of encouragement. So for anybody out there that's looking to get started in entrepreneurship, or someone that's aspiring to start in real estate, what is your advice to them?
So I'll start, and it's kind of two-part. I went to Bria event last night, and a young man, I think, reached out. He's like, he's looking for a mentor. And so I'll tell you two things to that answer I told him. One is start.
Yep.
He was
start.
He was so focused on, I have to have a duplex. Start. Because you're going to look for that duplex for the next year, 2 years, or whatever the case is, when the right deal for you was probably in front of you.
Yep.
Right? And I think you mentioned it earlier. You got that deal, and 6 months, a year later, you sell it or refinance, you cash out. That's one. Number two is, he was looking for a mentor. And so that was kind of on my heart afterwards. I told him, come by my office and get to know what we do and who I am. You're not going to find a mentor like that out at a place like that. So take the time to find a mentor, show interest, show value to them, and be patient.
Yes.
So that's my word.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, I just wanted to ask a question. So, did you have a mentor?
Not formally.
Yeah.
Not formally, but I had many mentors, whether they knew it or not.
Yeah.
And I think that's another way to look at things. But I always like to credit. I don't know if she'll ever see this, but I always tell, if she ever sees it, I'm going to thank her. One of my first jobs really was in the housing and community development department. And I came in, I was just like an accountant or something like that.
Yeah.
But my boss at the time saw something in me and challenged me. And because of that is actually why I'm here now, because of the things that she put in front of me took me to another level. It's like I'm still able to draw on that today with the relationships and stuff that I have. So
that's amazing. Yeah. That's a blessing.
Yeah, so appreciate you, Miss Carrington.
Yeah, I think if I had to tell anyone anything, it would be one thing that served me well when I first started doing communications. Because again, my degree is not in communications. My degree is in urban planning.
Yeah.
But I saw an opportunity in the department, and I was like, I can do this.
Right.
And I came in, and the person I was working for said, I don't have time to train you. Figure it out. And so one of the things that someone on the Mayor's communications team taught me was be useful. She's like, there's no, big secret code. Be useful.
Yeah.
If you are prepared to give and to serve and say, okay, how can I make this situation better? Whether you're dealing with a reporter and you're like, I want to have all the information they're going to need for their story, or I'm in the community and I want to come and I want to serve, but like I don't want to do it in a half sort of way. I want to be useful.
Right.
And so it sounds so simple, but that means like do your homework, be ready, and when you have an opportunity to say something, be prepared to say something that matters.
Definitely.
Be useful.
Yeah.
And so that would be my tip.
I like that. So if you ever see an episode like 3-4 months from now, and I'm on here like, be useful, just know that I really enjoyed that. But I want to add to those things. I think that when you're looking to start entrepreneurship or taking a leap into real estate or whatever it is, see where you can add value. You know, I think that's very, very important. And always do your homework. Like she says, I tell my clients when they're ready to start a business, I'm like, what do you know about this industry?
Yeah.
I know I'm good at it.
Yeah.
Okay, but what about your competitors? Like compared to what? You know, so let's just get out here. And I'm not the type of person that teaches my clients about competitors because I feel like everybody has a niche. But you still need to be informed on what's going on so that you can set up your business for success. So I want to leave y'all with that, and I want to thank them again for coming on the show. And we'll see y'all next episode. Thank you.
Thank you.